Mangwana Nimalelepo Vukenjani Klekloas Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You are joined by Ashwin Berry on Wednesday, the 11th of September, and these are some of the stories that we'll be looking at. Pilots told to go for re-examination after fraudulent medical certificates issued in South Africa. Kenyan court holds proposed Adani lease of country's main airport, and Ugandan Olympian Rebecca Cheptegei's attacker dies in hospital. Follow all our programs on oneup2.com, DSTV2 at 5 and GoTV25 in Namibia, Network Media Hub on YouTube. Arrie Hougaard will also join us, bringing us the latest news stories from South Africa. Stay with us as we head into the top stories shortly.
Entries are now open for the second round of Republicane's Bridal Couple of the Year competition. Couples married between 1 June and 31 August have until 30 September of this year to enter the second round of the competition. Another one of the top 10 couples will be chosen from this pool to participate in the final, taking place in May 2025. To better your chance of reaching the final, enter now. To enter, simply WhatsApp #bridal2025 to 085 785 6231 and follow the on-screen instructions or scan this QR code.
Let's get into the top stories on Africa Good Morning. Pilots, air traffic controllers, cabin crew, flight engineers, and other aviation personnel who have been examined by a former senior designated aviation medical examiner who issued fraudulent medical certificates have been urged to present themselves for re-examination and certification. This comes after the South Africa Civil Aviation Authority on Tuesday said it was finalizing an investigation into alleged improper and fraudulent conduct by Dr. Nonhlanhla Sishaba, who was designated to ensure aviation personnel, including pilots, meet the required standards for a valid license. The SACAA said the report follows a series of non-compliance and enforcement actions taken by the regulator against Sishaba. Now, regulator against Sishaba. Now, SACAA spokesperson Pindiwe Gwebu said the online system flagged that Sishaba continued to examine and issue medical certificates in gross violation of civil aviation regulations. Poppy Koza, the director of civil aviation, said she has notified known operators who used Sishaba's services and has issued a general notice to the aviation industry, including pilots, with further instructions. Now, Kenya's High Court has temporarily blocked a proposed deal for India's Adani Group to lease the country's main airport for 30 years in exchange for expanding it, court documents showed. In a joint application, the Law Society of Kenya, the country's main bar association, and the Kenya Human Rights Commission told the court that the country could independently raise $1.85 billion required to upgrade the airport in the capital, Nairobi. LSK and KHRC said the alleged 30-year lease of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, East Africa's largest aviation hub, was unaffordable, threatened job losses, was a fiscal risk, and did not offer taxpayers a value for money, court documents published by the KHRC on their website showed. Dixon Ndiema, the man accused of dousing in petrol and setting alight Olympic runner Rebecca Cheptegei, has died from burns sustained during the fatal attack on the Ugandan athlete, a hospital official said. Cheptegei, 33, who competed in the marathon at the Paris Olympics, suffered burns to more than 75% of her body in the September 1 attack and died 4 days later. Her former boyfriend Dixon Ndiema Marangash died on Monday, said Philip Q, Kirwa, Chief Executive Officer of the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret in Western Kenya, where Marangash was being treated and where Cheptegei also died. Now, Egyptian and Danish officials met in Cairo as part of the diplomatic efforts to prevent further violence and escalation in the Middle East. Now, Egypt stressed the need for a truce in Gaza, including an exchange of Israeli hostages and Palestinian detainees. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdel-Lati said Cairo will continue to make every possible effort to achieve an end to the fighting. Denmark's Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen praised Egypt for its ongoing efforts to mediate and secure a ceasefire, which is essential to preventing further escalation. The two also discussed a longer-term solution to the situation in the Palestinian territories. Rasmussen said the two-state solution remains the viable solution to the problem between Israel and Palestine, and this is important as we seek a solution as quickly as possible. Now, in the last of our top stories, hundreds of traditional women in Nimba County are threatening to return to the practice of female genital mutilation, which has been banned in Liberia by government and development partners. The women's threat followed the replacement of Culture Ambassador Julie Ende, whom the women describe as their daughter. Madame Julie Ende, a national cultural icon. Now, the women of Nimba, who gathered in huge numbers recently in the county, called on President Joseph Boakai to reinstate their daughter, or else they will erect roadblocks and return to FGM practices across all 19 administrative districts in the second most populated county of Liberia. Now, according to them, despite electing the Unity Party to power in 2023, most of the ministerial positions are being given to citizens from President Boakai's native Lofa County, while only a few Nimbayans have been benefiting from jobs in the new administration. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. After the break, we talk to Arrie Hougaard as he brings us the latest news stories from Mzansi, South Africa.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
All right, it's time for us to talk to Arrie Hougaard as he brings us the latest news stories from South Africa. Good morning, Arrie. How are you?
Yes, very good morning, Ashwin. Yes, all good here in South Africa. Thanks.
All right, let's get straight into it. The South African economy continues to show signs of recovery as Construction and Engineering Group WBHO reports healthy revenue growth in its South African business interests.
Yes, indeed. And why it's applicable, it's an indication of what's happening in the South African economy. There's lots of role players similar to them. And they obviously mostly in the building and civil engineering departments, but 70% of their revenue was created in South Africa. They also have interest in the United Kingdom, also in the rest of Africa. So it is a good indication that the economy is doing well. And it's mostly in roads and earthworks also, where there was lots of progress, and also mining up 61%. It's not that they're mining, they involved in the infrastructure of the mine, and also being involved in Harmony Gold and Anglo American. And then also in energy, it is they work for Eskom as well. It's mostly infrastructure as well. But so it's all, not only that, it's roads and the renewables, also data centers. And so the revenue of the WBHO is up 16%, and it is up to 27.5 billion South African rand for the year. So it's quite a big number, but it shows that the economy is doing better. And the rand dollar also indicates that. The rand dollar at the moment is 17 rand 94 you'll pay for $1. 1 year ago, exactly 12 months ago, it was 19.17. So there's an increase there as well.
All right, we certainly hope that upward trend continues. Now, South African pension fund members have come forward in high numbers to do withdrawals as made possible by the new two-pot system. Tell us more about this.
Yes, it's a little bit of a two-pot frenzy. It was in the first week. It started in the 1st of September. So briefly what happens is from the 1st of September, your pension is in two pots, and one is a saving and one is your pension, and 1/3 is your savings. Now a savings component where you can access to once in that financial year. One time you have a chance of that. At least 2,000 rand you must withdraw, but you can withdraw as much as you like. But there's been a bit of a frenzy, and that's the indication that people are really living on the breadline, and there's lots of challenges with debt. Mostly people, one indication is Alexander Forbes. They're South Africa's biggest fund administrator. They had 78,000 applications in the first week. It added up to 1.5 billion South African rand that people asked to get access to. But there's also benefit for government. They taxed on that. So normally you know that the 1/3 is tax-free after retirement. Now it's big tax, this savings pot. So just from that 1.5 billion South African rand, 270 million is going to tax. It's expected in the first year there will be roughly 55 billion South African rand being taken out of the pension funds, the so-called savings side of that. So that's a game changer in South Africa. But there's a bit of a frenzy, people trying to get access to their money.
Big numbers indeed, Arrie. Now, the Department of Health proposed a new, much stricter law related to both e-cigarettes and vapes. I can hear the Gen Zs crying.
Yes, yeah, there's lots of reaction to that, and it is the Department of Health that basically put vapes and e-cigarettes in the same category as cigarettes, and so the industry, the vaping industry, they fought back a little bit. They say that they're actually helping to reduce the harm. So the Department of Health, again, their stand on it was said, but less harm is still harmful. So there's lots of to and fro's on this, but in short, it's the same public regulations now, and you can go to jail for that if you smoke in public. And there's also standardized plain packaging that's coming into play, and no online, postal or courier services buying it from that as well. And so there's 62 countries that already classified the cigarettes and the e-cigarettes in the same category. So South Africa doing the same now. So there's more 100% smoke-free zones as well. So there's lots of pressure on everybody that's smoking cigarettes and e-cigarettes and vapes.
Well, whatever it takes to have a healthier population, right? Now, 13-year-old, this is a rather positive story. 13-year-old Zach Sampson is set to swim the 7 kilometers from Robben Island to Bluebergstrand to raise funds for the Anna Foundation. I remember being 13. I don't remember being this brave.
No, that's brave indeed, and it's a great cause as well. Anna Foundation doing great things. We've had them on some of the Namibian Media Holdings programs, and so that's some of the swimmers doing it's very popular. It's from Robben Island, where President Nelson Mandela was at prison. That's the Anna Foundation there doing good things. But it's the 7.5 kilometers, open water, so it's obviously cold. It's roughly 13 degrees when he's trying to do that. There's other challenges as well. There's obviously, you must look out for sharks and all kinds of stuff as well, but you've got support vehicles around you or support boats. But it's 7.5 kilometers, so it's been done many times by many people. Some people have done it 100 times, so it's possible to do. But he's been training for 2 years at 5 a.m. in the morning. He's been waking up and swimming for 2 hours. So it's incredible. The record is a 10-year-old, way back, Carly Fourie. She swam it when she was just 10 years old. Can you imagine that? So you have two options from Robben Island. You go straight to Cape Town. That's 11.5 kilometers to the harbour, or 7.5 kilometers to Bluebergstrand, the big bay, as you said. And so we tip our hat to Zach, and all the best for raising money for a very good cause for the Anna Foundation. They working with kids on farms, helping them to read, and they have a running program and also writing program. So it's very encouraging.
Yeah, truly incredible and truly brave. Of course, as far as I'm concerned, I'll take the boat. Thank you very much, Arrie, for bringing us the news stories from South Africa.
Yes, thanks, Ashwin. I think both of us will swim at where my background there. That's easier, just in the waves there a little bit.
Yes, I mean, as long as we can have wine in our hands, I think we can kind of figure it out. You know, comfort is necessary. Always good talking to Arrie, bringing us the news stories from South Africa. Stay with Africa Good Morning as we head into economic news after the weather. Let's continue with economic news on Africa Good Morning. Turkey has been in discussions with Somalia about establishing a missile and space rocket test site in the Horn of Africa. Sources familiar with the talks told Bloomberg. Now, Turkey's ballistic missile program requires long-range testing, and Somalia's strategic position on Africa's eastern tip offers an ideal location for launches over the Indian Ocean, said the sources, who requested anonymity due to the sensitive nature of the topic. Now, Somalia's proximity to the equator also makes it a prime candidate for a spaceport, as launches from near the equator can increase the range and efficiency of space rockets. This launch could potentially take place from Somalia, sources say, adding that Turkish officials are optimistic Somalia will approve the request. Now, Turkey's defense ministry declined to comment on the matter. Moving on, the U.S. government is ready to develop a crucial railway project that runs the Corporate Council on Africa as the high honor of announcing that the government of the Republic of Angola will host the 17th U.S.-Africa Business Summit in 2025 in the city of Luanda, Angola. Now, following a meeting of CCA leadership with His Excellency João Lourenço, President of the Republic of Angola, during the May 2024 U.S.-Africa Business Summit in Dallas, Texas, a memorandum of understanding was developed and signed in Washington. The U.S.-Africa Business Summit is recognized as one of the most important business platforms that annually brings together African heads of state and key ministers, U.S. cabinet officials, and heads of major agencies and CEOs and senior executives of U.S. and African companies to foster investment, trade, and commercial collaboration. Let's swing over into the economic indicators before we return with the sport. All right, let's get into the sport news. Mohamed Salah continued his impressive start to the season as he scored in Egypt's emphatic 4-0 victory over Botswana in their Africa Cup of Nations qualifier yesterday. Here are the other results. Namibia lost to Kenya 2-1. Cote d'Ivoire 2-0 against Chad. 3-1 was Burkina Faso beating Malawi. Benin 2-1 against Libya. And some of the other results you can see: Mozambique 2-1 against Guinea-Bissau. Noteworthy: Nigeria 0-0 against Rwanda. And South Africa in a nail-biter 3-2 against Sudan. Tanzania 2-1 against Guinea was one of the other exciting matches. Cameroon and Zimbabwe 0-0, which means Zimbabwe will certainly need to win its next game when it plays Namibia. Now, Australian Olympic hockey player Tom Craig has been suspended for 12 months, with 6 months of the ban suspended following his arrest in Paris for purchasing cocaine during the Games. Hockey Australia announced that Craig's suspension began on Monday, and it came after an investigation by its integrity unit into his arrest last month. 6 months of his suspension will be served fully, while the remaining 6 months will be suspended, contingent upon meeting conduct and behavioral requirements, HA stated. Craig is also required to complete mandatory training and education programs, according to the governing body. Moving over to football, former Chelsea manager Mauricio Pochettino has been appointed as the new coach of the United States men's national team, US Soccer revealed. Pochettino, who parted ways with Premier League side Chelsea in May after one season, will take over the US team in preparation for the 2026 World Cup, which will be co-hosted by Mexico, Canada, and the United States. The Argentine, formerly of Paris Saint-Germain and Tottenham Hotspur, has stated that his decision to join US Soccer was driven not only by football, but by the country's evolving journey, which he felt was an opportunity he could not miss. Now, US Soccer sporting director Matt Crocker described Pochettino as a serial winner with a deep passion for developing players. Now, England captain Harry Kane celebrated his 100th senior international appearance with both goals in England's 2-0 win over a weakened Finland side in Nations League Group B2 at Wembley last night. The 31-year-old Bayern Munich striker, who received a golden cap before the match and wore a pair of striking golden boots, broke Finland's resilient defense with a dipping right-footed shot in the 57th minute. Kane, who had a first-half header disallowed for offside, received a standing ovation when he was substituted in the 80th minute. We end with Formula One news. Aston Martin owner Lawrence Stroll praised Adrian Newey as a valuable acquisition, this after announcing that the renowned designer will join his Formula One team next March as managing technical partner and shareholder. Now, Newey, 65, had announced in May that he was leaving Red Bull, the reigning champions, in search of a new challenge. He will now focus on elevating the Silverstone-based team to the top of the championship. Those have been our sports stories on Africa Good Morning. Stay with us as we take you through the highlights after the break. And we're back just like that. Let's have a look at the highlights from this morning's broadcast. Pilots were told to go for re-examination after fraudulent medical certificates were issued in South Africa. Kenyan court holds proposed Adani lease of country's main airport. And Turkey plans to build a missile and space rocket test site in the Horn of Africa in Somalia. DSTV 2 at 5, GoTV 25, oneup2.com, and Network Media Hub on YouTube is precisely where you can find us. From me, Ashwin Berry, and the Africa Good Morning team, Swera Jakanaka.